Eugene,
Hi.
super great to have you this week on Impossible Finance's little sessions here. We're really excited to be doing the public launchpad for Ariadne currently on Impossible's launchpad. And yeah, wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper and share a little bit to the Impossible community, all the cool things that you guys are building. So let's just jump straight into it. I think when we
Cool.
first chatted, we were thinking tons about the multi-chain world and the kind of lack of bridges that we kind of saw early in the year, and was really fortunate to be able to see you guys kind of continue to build that. But I guess in a nutshell, could you share a little more on the vision and goals of what Ariadne is looking to solve?
Of course. Yeah. Thank you, and nice to be here. So yeah, the Ariadne defines itself as a DeFi marketplace and a cross-chain marketplace. So we are not competing directly with bridges. Rather, we are complementary to their services. So we think of us as a one-stop shop where you can jump in to a yield from one network to another. So say you got liquidity, you got USDT on one network, and you would want to farm on a different network. So normally you would have to go all the way through bridging your capital, then swapping it multiple times, then providing liquidity, then adding that to farm. So with Ariadne, if there's existing liquidity on that farm, you would just, at the cost of a simple transfer, have a trustless way to farm and get all the rewards of that farm, maybe even more, because we also auto compound. So yeah, we name it DeFi Marketplace because you would basically purchase a wrapped token on a network that you are currently on.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's really neat because it kind of combines some of the things like the yield vaults and other stuff that we've seen happen on each chain, plus the bridges that kind of help make this happen in a multi-chain world, to kind of package it all into one thing where a user can kind of sit back and relax and enjoy all the farms. Because to be honest, I think I've missed hundreds of farms just because I'm too lazy to do all these steps, right? But there's a lot more opportunities and alpha out there that I think you guys can help users unlock.
Yeah, we the project kicked off when we were like farming ourselves and saw that the UX, like the user experience, is lacking. So first you have to set up your MetaMask with exotic RPCs and networks, and then you also incur all the costs because in each network you have to pay the gas in native crypto, of course, but you also the costs are accumulating. So one of the usages of Ariadne is actually enabling retail users to try and farm with less money they spend on fees. So and I guess that's important too, because it's not like it's not the only goal of the project to democratize farming, but it's an important step which like reduces friction and makes the decision easier, frankly. So because if you have to bridge and swap and then deposit, and it takes if the transaction doesn't get stuck, it takes hours and hours. Then if you can make one transfer and forget about it, it's much easier. So, like a side note, Ariadne, of course, lowers the cost of this. It does have a certain fee that is paid in our token. But you'll end up paying hopefully a fraction of the real cost that you would incur. Just for our listeners to understand the financial model here, it's not that the company is just paying all the gas fees itself indefinitely, because that would make us go bankrupt in the future. It's about optimizing those. I can talk about it in length if needed.
Yeah, I guess you kind of segued straight into the next question that I had about kind of ARDN token, and I think you've mentioned quite a bit about kind of lowering the barriers. I think that's a lot of what Impossible cares about, increasing the access for all of these different DeFi opportunities, and we do think that Ariadne is one of the kind of gateways to it, right? I think, Ariadne is actually the actual like what goddess of mazes, right, in Greek mythology. And right now, this entire DeFi space, there's lots of walls, lots of barriers and make it harder for users to do, this on a day-to-day basis. But hopefully with you guys, they just kind of show up at the doorstep and they're kind of shuttled to all of the possible DeFi opportunities that exist out there. I think you mentioned that, some of the costs to it. Can you share a little bit more about what I call the kind of public bus kind of structure, which I think you guys also call it like a roll up to give
Yeah.
chance to kind of like crowd share the costs of multi-chain operations.
Yeah, so basically the idea, which is around for some time, for example, since the time the Ethereum prices are so high. So the idea is that you accumulate transactions and then execute them in one go. So the metaphor here would be a public transportation, like a bus, that would take you instead of driving your own car and paying for the gas yourself. So yeah, there are mechanisms in place to execute a queue of investment going into the farm from another chain or going out of the farm, which would actually make it cheaper. If you talk about Ethereum, which is a good example, of course, the costly one, there are some high yield farms. Like you want to farm meme on Curve, but you only had $1,000, and you do this analysis and say you have a them on Polygon, okay, because you entered from an on ramp. And you do this cost analysis when you see that to enter and to both exit and enter that Curve vault is like $500, and it's no longer interesting because you'd have to be there for months and months for even a break even. If you enter the farm as part of the LP of Ariadne, so it's be a fraction of that farm that's yours, and then there will be 10, 20, 100 people with you, the cost would be much lower. So this is one of the ideas. There's more to it because we would also act as an auto compounding service for selected farms. So meaning that you get the most out of those farms. So we're hoping to put a system together which is set and forget, because farming is about right now is about not only about chasing the alpha but also looking after them, after your crops very diligently, but it takes a lot of time. So again, I'm not being trying to be bombastic here or making huge, unrealizable plans. We'll start from something small, and actually the system is already in this stealth mainnet mode, which we support a couple of low-cost EVMs, and a limited number of people, like the developers of these blockchains, and so are testing out how to enter and exit those farms on different networks.
Yeah, I think you mentioned a lot of neat stuff with regards to some of the other chains that you guys are planning to support. I know you guys recently got the grant from the Near/Aurora team. So maybe it's a good time for us to chat a little bit about what are some of the next chains that you guys kind of plan to support. And I do think you guys have a very great blockchain agnostic vision of the long-term kind of growth of this space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's twofold. So the blockchain agnostic part of it, which really we are a system that stays sort of neutral to the chain. So we plan to support at start a couple of EVM chains, and roll out the support of non-EVM chains next, which is already in progress. The choice of Aurora, I think, was easy, because Aurora is this new and shiny EVM built on top of a very high throughput network, which is Near. So it has the capacity to do a lot of stuff. It does not have an ecosystem of DeFi and protocols built on it yet. So projects like Ariadne, and this is the pitch to the network, are bringing instant, user retaining thing that the user can jump into a DeFi and yield farm on a different chain And of course, you'd argue that, yeah, the liquidity is leaving the chain, but if you don't, like, it would be leaving anyways if those farms are lucrative. But the difference with Ariadne is that the user stays on your chain, so which is crucial for marketing. So you continue using your Near wallet, you continue using your Aurora wallet, you continue using your Solana wallet, for example. And it works vice versa. So it works if you have high yield and super lucrative farms, then the users can quickly jump in from other network. That my idea is that would actually benefit both, because it reduces the friction, and it reduces the overall tediness of jumping from one to another. But of course, at the end, it would benefit the strongest players, I guess. So the one who offer more opportunities, the one who offer more incentives, and so on. But that, yeah, like, that's another discussion.
Yeah, well, I think you gave us an incredible overview on everything Ariadne, and so far, we're really excited to see the progress and look forward to using it ourselves to, reduce some of our hassles as we participate in various DeFi projects. And we love that you guys are agnostic and support so many different chains, because it makes us, our job easier in helping you guys find these kind of partners and project teams to work with, both on the project side as well as the blockchain level, so that we can bring in as many different new ecosystem players into the Ariadne ecosystem as well. Really appreciate you taking the time speak with us today, Eugene, and we'll definitely chat more.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.